noticing that my longer videos are taking forever to upload. So until I get a hold of this whole idea of how to upload longer videos, I'm going to have to kind of make it a little bit shorter. So I have pre-shuffled cards. I will be using 2 cards, Psychic Tarot and Angel cards with by Doreen Virtue. I was guided to use angel cards as a theme, or angel card as a theme, and to use the Psychic Tarot for the remainder of the reading. Now, because as a medium, I don't read cards when I see client one-on-one. I will literally have people coming through or animals, and I will be giving verbatim information. However, that's not possible to do for a whole bunch of people at the same time. And as a general reading, so I have to use some tools, which is cards. I may interpret a card differently than what it says in the book. So don't get swayed if you see a card and you go, oh, this is what the card means, but I actually say something different. What I'm just looking at the card and I'm listening to my guide, what the information should be said, as opposed to what the information is with a card from the book, so to speak. I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm going to go ahead. I actually shuffled cards already, like I said, and 2 angel cards popped up. So I'm going to use that as the general theme, and then I will use 5 cards for the remainder. So I'm being asked to cut into 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So again, this is for Aries, month of October 2015. So let's go with the theme. So I have 2 cards, and I actually put one on top of the other. And what I have is 3 of Water and King of Earth. So 3 of Water, if you can see, it says a celebration, a wedding, graduation, a birth announcement, a need to have more fun. Another card got this actually, or another sign. Now the other one is a successful time, confidently accept opportunities, you're offered the Midas touch. So both of these are actually quite complementary and in a similar way, on a similar wavelength, but I'm going to ask what they want to say. Okay, so what I'm hearing is October is for Aries is going to be a month of culmination, and I am seeing a bag of goodies being wrapped up with a bow. Imagine Santa carrying a bag of goodies and there are a whole bunch of good stuff inside. And the culmination is months and months and months of work coming into a place and a time where everything comes together, and you can almost wrap a bow around it because it is now finished. Now, I do hear a wedding. I also hear project. Those are 2 separate things. So some of you will be dealing with a wedding, and obviously this would be a culmination of a courtship. And some of you would be dealing with a project which has taken a while to put together and now being a culmination of that project or an end result of that project. So actually the general theme is, and I'm hearing the word, both situations are very impressive in the way they're being presented. So I'm hoping that's going to make sense to you. And I hear the word, they're quite substantial. So a wedding, I can see it's quite substantial, and also in a business sense, if it's a large project and it's coming into fruition, then it's quite substantial. So very good feeling, a lot of emotional, I want to go, yay. It feels very full in here. Okay. I do get a bit of trepidation, almost as if I can't believe it's over. So there is a bit of, maybe trepidation is not the right word. There is a bit of excitement that feels a little bit of like anxiousness. Okay. So that's the theme. Now, what is present is victory and success, but I see it as it's actually upside down to me. So victory and success is, well, feeling victorious and successful. So I'm going to ask why it is being shown to me reversed or upside down. Okay, so what I'm hearing with this card is, even though the culmination should be the victory and that should be the success, I feel like that is just a stopover. So wedding signifies a new beginning. Completion of a project signifies an ending and possibly a new beginning. But I'm seeing those two situations, those two scenarios, as a stopover to another phase, which makes sense. After a wedding, a new life begins, and after a project, possibly some other project begins. So it's not to say that there is no time, or this is not a time to feel victorious and successful, but what it does show me is that it is only a stopover, and I don't mean only to minimize the importance of the situation, but it is a stopover to victory and success going forward. I hope that makes sense. I'd love some feedback on this. Okay, so in your past position, you have Shadow. Now, Shadow to me is a card of one having many faces, so to speak. And because it's upside down to me, it shows me that in your recent past, you have had to look at yourself and at the quote unquote demons that you carry. And in order for you to be where you are today and to go to the success that is awaiting you in the future, you had to do some soul searching, okay? And what I'm hearing is the need to look at yourself and the need to look at your life was very critical in arriving where you are today and where you are going. But what I'm also seeing is that by looking at yourself, it was there's a sense of transformation, as in you look deep into who you are and you realize things that you haven't realized before, and as a result, it allows you to gain a greater understanding of yourself and allow you to approach life in a different way that brings you much more joy and much more happiness. Okay. Now, in your immediate future, you have a third eye chakra, which is right around between the eyebrows. So what this tells me is you have a very clear vision of where you're going and what you want to achieve. And I feel that this clear vision is actually a result of you looking at yourself and examining your patterns and behaviors. This is also a card that signifies the need to use your third eye or your inner mind to see things the way you want them to see, not the way you don't want them to see. In other words, projecting what you want into the world, not what you don't want or where you come from in the past. Okay, so using your mind, using your eye, your inner eye, your your mind's eye, to achieve what you want to achieve. I want to say the power of positive thinking. That's what I want to say. Okay, and that's just very projecting the power of positive thinking. Okay. So we go to, okay, distant past. So in the distant past, what I see is this card says, stand your ground. This is very much a spiritual card. And what this tells me is that you have come from a place where you had to literally stand your ground on certain things in your life, whether it be to stand your ground within your relationship, whether it be to stand your ground within having a belief system, whether it's in a relationship, work-wise, business-wise, or romantically. It could be either way, but this is about learning how to stand your ground and being okay with it, okay? And I really feel that as a result, you had to face your demons, so to speak. And I'm using the term demons very, very loosely, so there's no religious connotation to it whatsoever. But as a result, you have to look at your old behaviors. And, you know, a lot of it is where you arrived with the victory, and the victory is going forward. So that's in your past. Now, in your distant future, you have crown chakra. So this is actually a very spiritually oriented reading, I would say. Obviously, or maybe not, you know what a crown chakra is. It's where we are connected to spirit, so to speak. And what this tells me going forward, especially coupled with the crown, with the third eye chakra, because this is your third eye and this is your crown. It tells me that going forward, you are going to approach life in more of a spiritual way. Not religious necessarily, it could be, but in a more spiritual way, whatever spirituality is to me. So you're coming from a place of redefining yourself, standing your ground, and owning who you are and speaking your truth, to overcoming certain things about your behaviors by facing your shadows or facing your demons, so to speak, and getting to a place where you are understanding that your own spirituality is very important and imperative in how you want your life to be. And using your third eye and using your crown chakra's connection to spirit is going to be much more prominent in your life going forward. Now, I do see a situation of, and I'm seeing a female, this could also be male, but I'm seeing a female first and foremost, who is actually in a business world. And by looking at her, I wouldn't necessarily see her as a spiritual person. Now, there is no such thing as somebody looking spiritually. One can exhibit certain things and one you wouldn't even tell. So this is a scenario where I see this woman, or whoever you are, that seems to be very regular and normal person like everybody else, but is very much spiritually oriented. But I also see her not talking about her spirituality so much. This is very much close to her heart. And it feels like it's a very separate part of what she does for a living, or what she does outside of home, versus what she does when she's alone and when she is in her own space. So there's very distinct two sides to her, whoever this is, whether it's you or someone you know or someone who you're connected to, whoever you are, there's distinct two different sides to you. And I think that's wonderful. Okay, so I hope this made sense. This is actually a very good reading. I feel this is a spiritually oriented reading, and I feel you're coming from a place of defending your turf, so to speak, standing for yourself, defending your ground, standing your ground, to a place where, and I hear the word, you are maturing spiritually. Okay, so a very good month. It feels really, really good to me. I hope this was helpful. As I always say, it makes no sense to me what I just said. It's not supposed to make sense to me. As long as it makes some sense to you, please remember this is a general reading, so some of it makes sense to you, some may not. All of it may make sense to you. Maybe all of it, none of it makes sense to you. So it just depends. There's lots of people watching it, and lots of people have different situations. So please drop me a comment. I would love to hear your comments, any questions or concerns. And I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in November. Thank you.